This is Oslo, the capital of Norway and a place I take every opportunity to visit. Right now, it's an absolute scorcher of a day. In fact, it's been a hot couple of days with the temperatures over 30 degrees, which if you've ever been to Oslo, you'll know is pretty unusual. Now, I lived in Oslo for a couple of years when I first moved to Norway, and I've since visited in all seasons. During that time, I've learned there's a lot to know about visiting Oslo whenever you choose to visit. In this video, I'm going to reveal my top tips for visiting Oslo so you can make the most of your time and money here in the capital. Just before we get started, please do check out lifeinnorway.net for more on Oslo and all things Norway in English. And if you do enjoy these videos, please consider backing me and the channel on Patreon. Backers get early access to all videos and exclusive travel tips from yours truly. Now let's crack on with what you need to know before you come to Oslo. Getting to Oslo. Oslo is well connected whether you're arriving by air, road or sea. The main airport, Oslo Gardermoen, is about 50 kilometers north of the city. From here, the easiest and cheapest way into the city is by local train. This commuter train takes about 25 minutes and is much cheaper than the heavily promoted Airport Express, which only saves a couple of minutes, if anything. Make sure you know which train you're getting and get the right kind of ticket. Some budget airlines also fly into Torp, near Sandefjord, which is much further away. If that's your arrival point, expect a long bus or train journey into the city with few alternatives. Oslo is also well connected by train to the rest of Norway and Sweden. If you're travelling from Gothenburg or Stockholm, the train is a scenic and relaxing alternative to flying. Local trains run through Oslo too, but tend to be less useful for tourists. Buses run into Oslo from across Norway and other parts of Scandinavia, including long-distance services from Copenhagen and Stockholm. Oslo Bus Terminal is centrally located, close to the train station. There's also large car ferries from Kiel in Germany and a route from Copenhagen in Denmark, which has recently changed operator from DFDS to the oddly named Go Nordic Cruise Line. Speaking of cruises, if you're arriving on an actual cruise ship, you might dock right in the city centre by the fjord saunas and with views of the Opera House, or farther out and need a shuttle bus to reach the city. See if you can find out in advance which dock you'll be using, as it will help you plan your stay. Getting around Oslo. Oslo is a compact, walkable city, but when you do need to get around, public transport is by far the best option. You don't need a car, and definitely don't use taxis unless absolutely necessary. They are expensive. The metro, trams, buses and ferries are all part of the same network, and you can get around using one ticket via the Ruter app. You can buy a 24-hour ticket or a multi-day ticket depending on the length of your stay. These passes include the ferries to the Oslofjord Islands, which is a real bonus in summer. E-scooters and rental bikes are also available, but be careful on uneven pavements and watch local regulations. If you're only in Oslo for one day, perhaps on a cruise stop, the city sightseeing bus can be worth considering. It's pricey, but unlike in some cities, it does actually give you a good overview of Oslo with useful commentary and access to key stops. Just be sure to double check the schedule so you don't miss your ship. Don't buy the Oslo Pass. You might be tempted by the Oslo Pass, which includes public transport and entry to museums. But unless you're planning to visit multiple paid attractions every day, it's unlikely to save you any money at all. Most of the best experiences in Oslo, like walking the waterfront, visiting parks, or exploring the diverse neighbourhoods, are completely free. One interesting recent change is that the local train from the airport is now included. But that's included for everyone who buys the Oslo Pass, which has put the price up. Not helpful if you don't buy the pass until you've already arrived in the city. If you are a culture vulture and plan on packing in many of Oslo's leading museums, plus you'll take the local train to and from the airport, then the Oslo Pass might, and I stress might, offer value. To find out, plan what you actually want to see and do in Oslo, then do the maths before buying the pass. Know the seasons. The best time to visit Oslo? Well, that depends on what kind of experience you want. In the summer, the city comes alive. There are festivals, long days, and a buzzing cafe culture, but it can be expensive, of course, and surprisingly hot, as I've discovered this weekend. In winter, Oslo is much quieter. Snow is likely, especially later in the winter. The days are short, and some attractions have limited hours. Oslo also tends to be the coldest of the major Norwegian cities. But it's also when the city feels cozy and magical, especially in that run-up to Christmas. Spring and autumn can be unpredictable, but they're also cheaper and less crowded, especially around autumn time. But dress in layers and be ready for anything. And remember, you're unlikely to see the northern lights in Oslo. Sightings do happen, but generally speaking, Oslo is just too far south, and there's too much light pollution. If the aurora is on your bucket list, spend a few days in Oslo, yes, but then head north, much further north. Embrace the weather. Norwegians are used to changeable weather, and so should you be too. The saying, "there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing," really does apply here. Rain can appear suddenly, even on a summer's day. Winters bring snow, slush and ice, or just cold temperatures. Spring and autumn are full of surprises, sun one minute, wind or sleet the next. But don't let a bit of rain or snow put you off. If you dress appropriately, Oslo is a great city to explore in any season. Bring waterproof shoes with good grip, a warm or windproof jacket depending on the time of year, and dress in layers so you can adapt throughout the day. In fact, in one of my recent videos, I took a fjord sightseeing cruise in Oslo in -13 degrees, and I still enjoyed myself. It just goes to show that with the right mindset and the right gloves, you can have a fantastic experience whatever the weather throws at you. Spend some time in nature. One of Oslo's biggest surprises is just how close you are to nature. Even from the city centre, you can reach forests, lakes and hiking trails within about 20-25 minutes. Hop on the metro and head to Frognerseteren or Sognsvann for a proper taste of friluftsliv, Norway's outdoor lifestyle. If you're visiting in winter, these same areas become great spots for cross-country skiing. The ferries to the islands of the Oslo fjord are part of the public transport system and run regularly in summer. You can hop between the islands on one ticket. Hovedøya has forest trails and monastery ruins. Grasholmen is a peaceful nature reserve, and if you're brave enough, there are swimming spots throughout. Pack a picnic, bring your swimsuit, and enjoy a completely different side of Oslo. Explore the inner city. Beyond the waterfront and main attractions, Oslo has several neighbourhoods worth wandering. Grünerløkka has a creative alternative vibe. It's full of small shops, parks, food trucks, and independent coffee spots, along with pleasant riverside walks. Frogner, on the other hand, is more upmarket, home to Vigeland Park, upscale boutiques, and beautiful old townhouses. Take the time to explore side streets and local bakeries. Oslo is full of quiet charm if you go looking for it. Eating and drinking. Eating out in Oslo can be expensive, but there are ways to keep costs down. Look out for lunchtime deals at cafes and casual restaurants. Places like Bakstube offer lighter bites and pastries at great prices, and some sushi spots and Asian buffets have good weekday or lunchtime specials. Supermarkets can also help you stock up if you're self-catering. Supermarket salad bars can be good value too. For drinks, local beers are popular, but again, watch your budget. If you make your visit to Oslo an alcohol-free one, you'll save money. If alcohol is a must, buy a bottle of wine or beers from the duty-free upon arrival. It's much cheaper than buying in regular stores. There's a reason Norwegians head straight for the tax-free store when arriving at the airport. Apps you'll need. Before arriving in Oslo, take a few minutes to download some handy apps. They'll save you time, money, and hassle. The Ruter app is your go-to for getting around Oslo and the surrounding region. Use it to plan routes, check departures, and buy tickets for metro, trams, buses, and ferries. Tour, a nationwide journey planner for all public transport across Norway. Ideal if you're combining Oslo with other destinations like Bergen, Trondheim, or the fjords. Norway's most trusted weather app used by locals and tourists alike. Oslo weather can change quickly, so keep an eye on the hourly forecast to plan your day. Oslo Bysykkel, the app for Oslo's public bike system, available from spring through autumn, great for short rides through the city's parks and neighbourhoods. Things to do. There's no shortage of things to see and do in Oslo, from the Munch Museum and the new National Museum to the Opera House, Akershus Fortress and the historic Bugdøy area. Watch this video next to see my recommendations of the very best things to see and do in Norway's capital city. And as always, thank you for watching.